Hiya folks, so it's a bit of a wet and a miserable day today. Didn't really need a crystal ball to predict that. It's February, it was kind of bound to happen. The only part that I need to be concerned about is if the winds pick up. So there have been a couple of weather warnings talking about the possibilities of up to 50 mile an hour winds. Now 50 mile an hour in the woods, it's not a great place to be, especially with kind of conifers that have a more shallow root ball. So we've just got to keep an eye on that basically. It's wet and it's not very nice, but it doesn't mean that it's going to stop play completely. Flying solo today, no Simon. He's going to come up in the next couple of days. But we're going to try and get some stuff done, ultimately with the aim of trying, if possible, to test out the log raft feature. Now, if this one works in the style that we've built it, with it being kind of like the most aggressive feature on the track, it does mean that we can apply that build theory back to the other ones and kind of just know that they're going to work. So this is quite a crucial one to get ready and get tested. The issue that we've got with it, although we moved some dirt the other day, is we don't actually have a run-in for it yet. So that's what today's going to be about. So when I say that it doesn't have a run-in yet, that's not to say that it doesn't have a place where the run-in's supposed to go. Obviously it does, but it's just not there yet. Now, obviously, you can't test a feature without having a run into it. You know, I want to test it in the next couple of days, so we've just got to put that run in there. The issue I've got is we're testing a section of the track, so we're not going to have the full speed that riding the whole of the track gives you. So the idea is, can we make enough speed to clear this big feature in? And that's what today's all about. You know, we're going to try and find an area where we can get it in, get it opened up, get a corridor so that we can pile on through and hit this feature, but just got to hope that we can hit it at enough speed. Okay, so having a quick mooch about, it looks like there's three things that we've got to deal with here. Number one, being behind me, we've got to build a run-in to this feature. That's the first thing that we've got to deal with. Second thing we've got to deal with is the fact that the dirt on this feature is new, like really new, and it's wet. That's not perfect conditions for a takeoff transition, especially not for testing a takeoff transition. It's a bit wet in the kind of pad area as well. Probably going to need to put some fresh dirt on this. The landing itself, landing transition isn't looking so bad, but so that's the second thing that we've got to deal with. Probably some more dirt on here and to bolster this up with some fresh stuff. Third thing is the weather report. I really kind of need to, ideally I need to get this tested this weekend. So the weather report for the next kind of 4 days is not great. So that does present a bit of a challenge. So we can kind of keep fingers crossed a bit that well look, can either go home, knock it on the head and be all like, it's not gonna work, or I can keep fingers crossed, hope that this weather passes us by, and just crack on today, get some of this moved and get some more dirt on here. Of course, I'm not going to be choosing the option to just go home. So I've taken the big jacket off now because I don't know if you can see, but that is blue skies. I've got no idea what's going on with the weather at all. I'm just cutting through. As you can see, there's a bit of a track of brash behind me, so that's got to be tidied up. Don't have particularly far to go before we're getting into the setup for the jump. You might be able to see in the background, I don't know if it'll show up that well, but you can kind of see the features in there. We'll give you a look at them later. But yeah, time for a quick slurp of coffee, get the rest of this branches knocked off, tidy up this brash, and then we can have a rake and start and put a line in. So once again, I've let it get a little bit late and it's starting to get dark, but you know, you can't use tools and film at the same time. But here we are towards the end of the day. Now the thing I'm a little bit disappointed about, not say disappointed about, impatient is the better word, is I'd like to test this one out in the kind of run-in, and it's a shame to not be able to get this one in to run in the raft feature, but you know, we are going to get a time for that. There's the in and out section up there that needs to be built into this, and then it loops down and into the raft, and I think this section of just above that as well actually is the camel hump. So there's quite a feature heavy bit down this back wall towards the end. I'm impatient to link it all together and try it all, but for now I've just got to be kind of pleased that it stopped raining and I could scratch a bit of a track in, at least enough to kind of give us a run. Anyway, I'm going to spin you around and walk you down, and at least you can see what we're hitting tomorrow. So this is going to be us trying to get a few tyres down here tomorrow. It's a bit sort of techy and twisty. Obviously it's going to flatten itself out and run itself in once we get the tyres down through, but I've left a bit of an option for either side of this tree, because honestly I don't know which way is going to be better yet, but probably be favouring this side. And as we come down in, we've got the kicker there, and it's a launch really. Essentially it's going to be hit it as fast as you can and launch it up and over. So yeah, ultimately I can't have it all ends up, I can't have it all finished and in. I mean, again, the impatient side of me would say that I'd like to get into the kinker as well and just do all of the whole run, and I can't wait for that to happen. But for now it'll be good just to get this one tested. It needs to dry out a little bit on here, which you can do with this light wind overnight, and yeah, let's see what tomorrow brings. Right, so day 2, round 2, whatever we're calling this, I don't know, but what I do know is it's less than ideal conditions. So when I got home last night about 5:30, 6 o'clock ish, it had started raining in Penrith then. It lasted right the way through to about 20 minutes ago. So it's rained all night. That means that we've got really soft dirt, which is kind of okay for landings but not good for takeoffs and run-ins. It's really windy as well. A lot of you might be thinking, well dude, why don't you just leave it until better weather to do your testing, but I'm on a bit of a time crunch here. It's the biggest feature on the racetrack, and basically if we can get this one tested in for the dirt work that we've done on it, it does mean that I can then just apply that dirt work theory to the rest of the log layups, and it means that I can really crack on and get things done. What are we, kind of early doors in February now? Now would be the best time to have this confirmed that it's right and it is how we want it to be, so that we can kind of crack on and get the rest of it done and get ready and open. So yeah, ideally today or tomorrow could really do with testing it, and we're gonna attempt today. Okay, so it's not raining up here. I'll take that as good news. It is, however, excuse me, it is, however, a bit more windy than it was at home. So who knows? I mean, all we can do is give it a bash, see what happens. Right, so at this point Mother Nature has stepped in and said, oh guys, for sure, why don't you build a soak away point that drains into all levels, because yeah, I'll definitely send the water down there. It's kind of part of the hazards of it. What I've done to alleviate some of it is put a quick soak away in. That's about 1.5 foot deep, just a bit of a channel to run through and get some of this draining away. The issue we've got with a soak away drain like this is it does take hours to soak away, like overnight. So what we're going to do is I've placed the log down here, and we're just going to raise up this level here and see if we can get something workable. Right, so we've about hit that point of there's not much else you can do. We've got some dirt into here, we've got a bit of a soak away going on over there. Really, the tyres are going to be our friends now, and a bit of time to let it dry out. We have got some blue skies at the moment, fingers crossed that they last for the next couple of days. But after a morning's digging for the start of the day, it's time to break for lunch, and before we set to and check out this running and see if we can get that rolling.
Morning folks, Dad and Simon tried to test the track a couple of days ago. It was too wet to test, so we're going to test it again this time.
So yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. We'd done all that work to try and get it ready, and unfortunately probably hadn't given it enough time to dry off. We're a couple of days later now, and yeah, maybe it's not completely dry by any means, but as you can see, we did actually hit the transition a few times and get down into here. It's still quite soft down there, doesn't need a definite rake over. The issue that we were having was with the transition though, and the transition was very, very soft. Now it's just a little bit soft, and we can probably fix that today with a little bit of dirt and a bit of rake work. And as my assistant said, hopefully we'll be ready for some testing tomorrow, but does mean that we need to do a little bit of work today. Right, so initial testing has been pretty good, mostly good. If I can show you, I'm hitting consistently the same piece every time. Now, obviously, the part underneath there that I am getting, and I've hit it, what, maybe 6 times?
Yeah,
maybe about 6 or 7 times just to check it out. And I'm obviously coming out of this area. I'm obviously coming out of here at the same point and at the same place, and booting myself into here. Now, with it being a little bit soft and obviously rutted at the moment, it means that I'm not getting to clear all of the log raft. What I am getting is over to kind of front wheel on the knuckle. Let's blast. Which is, to be honest, is a little bit disappointing. I do want to be playing it over, but we have got...
It's super soft.
It's super soft, and we have got all of that rut to deal with, which, you know, is not perfect. So what I'm thinking is, to close off the day, we will tidy up a bit of this bottom area.
Yeah, I'll do the bottom area.
I'll pack in this landing. Again, I'm going to try a point up. So we have got blue skies. Hopefully that's going to dry everything out a bit overnight, and then we'll get into some proper full throttle, full speed testing tomorrow, and see what Simon makes of it. Anyway, for now, that'll about do, and it's not far off. And to be fair, I've got out of it what I wanted. I've got the transition kind of tested. I know that it's working, it's just a bit soft, which means that I can just go ahead and build similar style dirt work on the rest of the features and have confidence that it's going to work again now. So although I'm not right where I want to be with that, and it's still a little bit soft, you know what, it's fine, it's okay.
At least it works.
Yeah, it works, and it gives me the idea that I can crack on with the rest of the line now. Just to close this off, I will be coming out with the announcement of the exact specific date of the reopening very shortly. So I know what that date is now. I've just got to figure out how we make the announcements around it, and fingers crossed this track will be ready for that opening day. If not, it'll be the weekend after, but this one should be ready for it. Anyway, stay tuned for that, and I'll get all the details to you. See you in a bit.